Na Poljskem je oktobra lani po zmagi Donalda Tuska na parlamentarnih volitvah zavel svež veter. Vse tako so bili prepričani volivci in volivke liberalno usmerjenega voditelja. Tusk je Poljake med drugim prepričal z obljubami o reformah na področju neodvisnosti pravosodja, medijev in človekovih pravic. Pol leta po zmagi je vladajoča koalicija nekaj korakov naprej že storila, a so se enako hitro pojavila tudi vprašanja, ali lahko Tusk reforme izpelje na demokratičen način.
You have to use constitution itself, the Polish constitution itself, because the legislation left behind by the previous government was completely anti-democratic and unconstitutional, because they broke constitution together with the President Duda. They broke constitutions many, many times. So now, if you have to reinstate the rule of law and also the media, of course, you have to be, in a sense, you have to be radical. And I mean, by radical, I mean use constitution itself, not the legislations that is a leftover of this government.
The last 8 years was, as I said previously, crazy. The Law and Justice government demolished Polish society, Polish media landscape, rule of law, many things, Polish economy, yes, because they use Polish company controlled by the state like private state, you know. And you ask, can Tusk fix it? Of course, some things, absolutely. From our perspective as a journalist and editors of the independent media, the last 8 years was a war between government and independent media. Like today, we have a normal situation. No one said that Gazeta Wyborcza is traitor or of Polish nation, because they accuse us about things like that and other things. So yeah, they try to fix some things right now, but it will be like a Sisyphus work.
Some of the things that they started to fix, it was really difficult to do it in a smooth and fully transparent ways. For example, public television, that during the last 8 years was used as a tool of propaganda, had to be fixed really quickly. So they did some moves that, in my opinion, were necessary to get rid of the propagandists. But some of the lawyers said that it was like doubtful from the legal point of view. So, but it was probably necessary anyways.
Da se reforme, čeprav počasi, premikajo v pravo smer, je Poljski očitno priznala tudi Evropska komisija, ki je državi pred dnevi izplačala prvih dobrih 6 milijard evrov iz Evropskega sklada za okrevanje in odpornost po pandemiji COVID-19. Varšava je namreč sprejela potrebne reforme na področju neodvisnosti pravosodja, pa tudi reforme in naložbe na področjih okolja, kmetijstva in digitalizacije. A Tuskovo koalicijo čaka še precej dela, predvsem na področju medijev. Jaroslav Kačinski in njegova stranka Zakon in pravičnost sta si med 8-letno vladavino namreč povsem podredila nacionalno radiotelevizijo.
Public broadcasting media were taken over by the previous government and changed into a propaganda machine that was very effective. Because of the scope, the range of access by the Polish television, public broadcasting public television, and Polish radio, they had nearly complete scope around Poland. Not there are other two televisions which are private, but these couldn't be compared to the to the audience that the audience is smaller. So the propaganda machine by the Polish TVP, Polish public television and Polish radio, public radio, was nearly 100%. And this was the propaganda machine of the of incredible vulgarity.
Poljska nacionalna televizija je med vladavino Jaroslava Kačinskega nenehno napadala tedanjo opozicijo, Donalda Tuska zmerjala z nemškim agentom, medtem ko je tedanji notranji minister na televiziji šel celo tako daleč, da je kazal fotografije migrantov ter opozarjal gledalce, da so migranti sodomiti. Nacionalni medij je bil zlorabljen na grozljiv način, se strinjajo poljski novinarji in politični analitiki. Ali se televizija in radio po takšnih burnih letih lahko pobereta in ali je Tuskovi vladi to sploh v interesu?
Frankly speaking, I tell you there are two possible scenarios. One is pessimistic and one is much more optimistic. The pessimistic is like this, that it should be that maybe there is a political agenda to make public media very weak with a very small market share, let me say 3%. And in this situation, maybe future politicians will not care about this media. Okay, it's a margin. This is a pessimistic, that if they will be weak, we can make a very small, less channels, less stations. Okay, it should be that they are public media, but they have no any influence on the society, and so on. The second is much more optimistic, that we will come back to this assumption that we start work, that we change the system of financing, the system of governing this media, and that we appoint the right and good people, and we have enough sufficient but not direct tools to realize really what is a public obligation.
Če se bo nacionalna televizijska hiša morda še dokaj lahko iztrgala iz primeža stranke Zakon in pravičnost in se reformirala, bo šlo precej težje s sodišči. Na Poljskem deluje približno 10.000 sodnikov. Ocenjuje se, da je Jaroslav Kačinski med letoma 2018 in 2023 imenoval okrog 3.000 sodnikov. Kako jih odpustiti, ne da bi tvegali popoln razpad sistema in znova zdrsnili v avtokracijo?
The problem is we have 10,000 judges in Poland, around that. And nearly 3,000 are nominees by the former government, so they are not regular constitutional judges.
That's one third.
It's one third. It's nearly one third. So you have them there. They are here. And they sabotage the system, the new transformations. They sabotage. They do all kinds of sabotage. They don't want to leave the positions, to go to the courts that they were nominated from, and so on and so forth. It concerns, of course, the Judiciary Council that was taken over by the former government. It's not changed yet. And you need the legislation to change it. And the legislations would be vetoed by the president, and so on and so forth. So a lot of hurdles and barriers in front of this government.